Right, how's everyone doing? Good, I hope you know. I want to talk about the Atari VCS and the intellivision amico, right? Or rather, the four, the four people that are in charge of an television amico, you know. But before I get to these four individuals who are responsible for the intellivision amico and the scam that it is, in my opinion, um, before I get to them, I'll tell you about what's happened with the Atari VCS. So, it's going to be the first Atari VR game called Pixel Ripped 1978, you know, which it's a VR game. It's going to be on PSVR 2 and other VR headsets, you know. And it's the first Atari VR game where you go inside the game and play Atari games. It's actually in like a world like Crystal Castles or Centipede Adventure. You're actually in like a VR environment with forests and trees and centipedes. It looks awesome, you know, and it just takes Atari into a new area that they've never been in before, VR, which is awesome in my opinion. I hope somehow this game comes out on the Atari VCS. Um, uh, it's not impossible, but it's a VR game, and currently the Atari VCS is not capable of VR. So I believe. But there are upgrades coming out for the Atari VCS. Hopefully, one of those will be VR capabilities, because this is an awesome game. Pixel Ripped 1978. It's made by a company called Avar or something like that. But it's an Atari game. You actually go inside and play Atari games, fix them, play them. It's brilliant. It really is, and it takes Atari into a new area that they've never been in before. So Atari are here to stay. A long bright future ahead of them, and the Atari VCS, and awesome. On the 23rd of March, there's going to be two new games coming out. Sorry, I think it's three new games. Two I know for sure, right? One is Gunslugs 2 by Orange Pixel. Fair play, Orange Pixel. I mean, keep releasing those awesome games. The other one is, I keep forgetting the name of it. It's a top-down spaceship shooter, you know, made by Tony Barnes over at Retro Ninja Studios. Well done, Tony. Keep bringing out these awesome games on the Atari VCS. They're awesome games. And there's another one called Project Orbit, which I think is one of his as well. So brilliantly, you know, and there's plenty more to come out. You know, there's loads more to come out for the Atari VCS this year and next year, and I'm gonna say 2025 also, because there's 12 games coming out from Stern Electronics. Atari just purchased Stern Electronics. Berserk and Frenzy are well. Berserk 2600 was already released on the VCS Star. Frenzy is coming out, and 12 other Stern Electronics games that Atari have acquired. But Atari themselves are going to bring out their own games as well, their own recharge games as well. So awesome! Plus all the indie dev games, and it's brilliant. You know, it really is, and it's really good. Atari are doing all the right things, and they have the right personnel. They're doing a great job, because they all have the same goal: to release awesome video games that makes Atari great, makes fans happy, and everyone's happy. You know what I mean? So it's brilliant. And the board that Atari are on board, they're not up to any no good or anything like that. They all have the same goal, which is awesome. There's no greed, there's no egos or anything like that. So awesome, and I hope it stays that way. You know. Now, on to the Intellivision amico, which is the complete opposite of what Atari is doing. Intellivision, as far as I'm concerned, it's over. You know what I mean? With Intellivision and the amico. It's never going to come out. Not under these circumstances. Intellivision themselves are finished, right? And it's all down to the four fellas in charge that took the money and run, and now all their lying, all their scamming has caught up with them. Now, based on what I've heard, right? They're getting sued, right? Because they have to explain where they got all this money from. Why aren't they investing into the amico, and why haven't they paid back people their refunds, because they said they didn't have the money to give people a refund, and they don't have the staff to do it, because they had to let go staff because they couldn't pay them, because these four fellas that are in charge took the money, most of the money themselves, and they thought they could get away with it, but making up excuses, delays, bullshit lies, and they thought that they could get away with it. Now this is based on what I've heard. You know what I mean? And based on what I've heard, these people belong in jail. Okay, so the four fellas in charge of Intellivision that orchestrated this whole thing, Tommy Tallarico, John Alvarado, Nick Richards, Phil Adam. These are the four people responsible for what has happened with Intellivision and the Amico. And it's just terrible, really. So what's happening now is they're getting sued, right? But they're not replying to the lawsuit. They're pretending like nothing's happened and they're not going to. So they enter it by default, which means a judge is going to continue with or without their permission. So Tommy Tallarico is the one that bought Intellivision back in 2018, who brought the company back into existence. He owns Intellivision, so he's responsible because he's the owner. So the other three, John Alvarado, Nick Richards, and Phil Adam, are leaving it all in his lap. Now he made all of them millions of dollars or euros or pounds, including himself. And instead of putting it into the console, instead of being upfront and honest with people, they were making up bullshit excuses. Launch date after launch date, lies. Instead of making the console, look, if they had tried to make the console and failed, okay, that'd be one thing. But the fact that they lied to people and made it seem like they're making a console, so they're all leaving it in Tommy Tallarico's hands, So if something happens, he'll take the fall for it, but he'll make sure that he doesn't take the fall for it. But it's his company; he bought it, and he selected these other people to help bring the Amico to life. But instead of doing that, they took the money and they kept it. They gave themselves all huge bonuses and salaries. Now, this is based on information that other people have told me. I haven't found out any evidence myself, but I'm only going off by what other people are telling me, and they're all telling me the same thing. So, Intellivision LLC's entering this lawsuit by default. The judge says, we're going to continue with or without you. So we want the owner in here, which is Tommy Tallarico, and the other three are splitting. But they won't get away with it. They might for a while, but they won't get away with it. And the IRS will be, take them to jail, to the cleaners, because if they defrauded over 7 million from people through 4 crowdfunding projects, they were up to no good with other things as well, because these people, they need money and they want money. And that's why this Intellivision Amico team went on for so long, because they were still getting money, but now there's no more money. And the other three, John Alvarado, Nick Richards, and Phil Adam, are leaving it all in Tommy's lap. But eventually all of them will be brought to justice, I hope. But just instead of doing the right things like Atari is doing, they thought that they could get away with it. But no. Not with something like this. But we'll see what happens. They might get away with it. Who knows? The judge will. Well, all depends what the judge says. There's plenty of evidence out there that these people have scammed people. But so it's up to the judge to decide if it's true or not. I think it's pretty clear. Where it says console, it's not being manufactured. We've heard that the patents for the Intellivision Amico, all the technology that's inside the Amico, the patents were not granted, so they can't build it anyway. And even so it's just a failure. It's just a complete failure, and these four people are responsible. Like I said, they let go staff ages ago because they couldn't pay them. So there's no one there at this office to process people's refunds, and they don't have any money, and they're not selling any products to generate any money. That's why they were doing all these crowdfunding projects, these crowdfunding things to get money. Yeah, it's actually sold games with a coin ship, but there's no games on it because there's no console to download the game. So that's fraud as well because they took people's money for those too. So that's the end of it for intellivision. Technically, it all depends on what this judge says. You owe us this amount of money. If you don't, we're gonna take your houses, your land. Hopefully they go to jail, like I said, but they'll do everything they can to avoid that. Money, money, money. So that's the end of it as far as I think. So they're my opinions. So I hope everyone has a good day out there. Take care and bye bye.